shirt, you know. Come get the real belts, not the same franchise shit.
That boy is good.
You're going to see it on MGM Grand. Only one will stand. And Bill Haney, William E. Haney come with that fight plan.
They didn't think niggas out of Oakland was gonna push up on their ass. You dig?
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
Well, tell the truth and shame the devil that Devin is a bad motherfucker.
WBC, the lightweight champion of the world.
Come get the real belts, not the same franchise shit.
That boy is good.
Bill Haney, say his name 3 times, pop up like candy, man.
When you talk about that, you talk about one of the best fighters in boxing.
SDS Promotions.
All right. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are joined alongside William H. Haney, the man of the hour. Listen, I've been saying, and obviously it's not because you're here, but I think we talked to Frank and quite a few others, journalists. I definitely want to put your name in the hat for Manager of the Year. I hope that the BWAs recognizes you. Hopefully, the Ring Magazine recognizes you. I think what you've been able to do as not only a trainer but a manager for the entire career of your son thus far has been unmatched, and I think it will be the blueprint for other father-son duos. And I've been saying this in all the gyms here in Vegas that I'm challenging people to find a better father-son duo that's done it. Obviously, Jack Mosley's been there with Shane Mosley, Floyd Sr., and Floyd Mayweather. But the reason I feel you got it over them is because that relationship didn't last. He started working out, obviously, with Roger, and the business part of it wasn't there. Like, what you've been able to do for Devin, I know many managers or fathers can only hope to accomplish. So congratulations for getting him thus far. And he's only 23?
23 years old.
Crazy. You might want to.
23 years old. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the warm introduction, and
For sure.
thank you for all the kind words. This is a job that I take very serious. As long as Devin can appreciate my efforts, and he's happy with me, along with everyone that's involved with DHP and moving forward. But hopefully that we left a warm feeling with everyone that we've done business with thus far, whether it be Matchroom, who gave us a good opportunity to get up off the ground and get in the air, put some wind under our sails. Gordon Hall over at Showbox did a excellent job. To be a Showbox alumni, we felt that it's a certain way that a fighter should be moved, and one of the stops is at Showbox, the next generation. It's a undervalued platform. People are not giving it as much recognition as they used to. But we come from that Showbox platform, and then on to, of course, what we're doing with Bob Arum and Top Rank now. So it's been a remarkable journey. We've had some great people to work with, and we continue to move forward.
I gotta ask, did you ever feel like maybe you made the wrong mistake? I mean, the wrong choice in not signing with a major from the beginning, not signing to a Floyd. I know there was interest with him. Because obviously now I'm sure you don't regret it. You guys are undisputed, but in that journey, which is short because he's only 23, but was there ever a moment like, damn, Dev, maybe we should have got with Floyd, maybe we should have got with Bob, or do you always felt like you made the right decision and you were just chugging along?
No, it's the strong belief in our faith, and that Allah makes no mistakes. That, you know what I mean? He's Allah's the planner of all planners, and you know, we never live with any regrets. We know that we had to put on the big boy pants, and we had to walk in a way that, you know, sometimes we won't be as recognized for what we're doing publicly, but, you know, privately we had a lot of different successes, you know, that we overcame, that we turned roadblocks into stepping stones.
For sure, man. So obviously I won't bore you with my questions. I know you, like you said, you were coming in hot. You have something on your chest. I kind of gave our audience a little bit about it. I'm assuming it has a lot to do with legacy and the fact that, you know, your son has all the belts. Ryan used to be his mandatory, was the interim, which means he should have wanted to fight Devin at some point. Is choosing not to fight him. Now is choosing not to fight at 35, where there could be a legacy career-defining fight. Instead, he's saying things about 40 where there will be no belts, but also something with Bernard that I'll let you tell us.
Well, I mean, first, let's back up a step, and let's, for one time, let's give a special, right, and a shot to the sanctioning bodies who have been dealing with all this turmoil and all this misunderstanding. You know, you have, of course, you have Paco with the WBO, who's doing a wonderful job over there. You have the WBA. You have Gilberto, who's doing a wonderful job as well. You got Mauricio with the WBC and this legendary, you know, the stress that it goes with having his job. And then you have Daryl Peoples over with the IBF. And I think that a lot of the champions that have benefited by being champions, by being in world championship fights, who earn a residual income from being champions, or not being extremely forthwith with the benefits of being a champion and what being a champion means. Now I hear this narrative, this new narrative that you don't have to be a champion. You don't have to be a champion. That's a falsehood. You know, somewhere, you know, everyone started thinking that they have to pay for the sanctioning fees, right? That's what the public, right? If you take a look at the public and what everyone is saying, the fans are, you shouldn't have to pay for. Well, we don't. We don't pay the sanctioning fees.
Comes out of the check, though.
No. It's decided way before the fight even happens. Who's going to pay the sanctioning fees? Well, if you deliver a world title fight to a network, the network is going to pick up the sanctioning fees. Yeah, the network is going to put enough in the budget. Listen, we need to knock it off and stop.
Not every time, because
listen.
I remember Wilder complaining he had to pay $40,000.
Listen. Let me explain to you. When you have a relationship with a network that's interested in having a world championship fight, especially a fight as such as Undisputed, the money is in there for the sanctioning fees. We don't pay the sanctioning fees. You know, we don't. For any of the belts.
Wow.
We've never paid any sanctioning fees.
I mean, you did hear Tio complain about that, right? So I guess it's different treatment for different people from the promoter because
well, that's what I'm saying is that's the part of with Devin as being a promoter and negotiating, right? We don't negotiate that we're going to provide our talent on a network, on a platform with partners, and then we pick up the sanctioning fees.
No, which makes sense.
You know what I mean?
I don't know that people knew they could negotiate that.
I don't think that. And I don't think that certain fighters on certain levels, right, don't negotiate that in there. You know what I mean? A Tank Davis. What are you worried about one belt? You think Mayweather, $18 million watch, a private jet, you think that your guy, that your promoter, is not going to pick up the fee for the sanctioning fee for your legacy?
Or should, you mean?
Or should, right? Instead, we say these things like, you don't need them. Well, Floyd paid 5 sanctioning fees. Didn't he say he had 5 belts in 2 different weight classes at the same time? But wasn't undisputed. Why did you need to pay for 5 when you can win in a division and you pay 4? Right? So I think that's a misinterpretation that the public needs to hear, and fighters and promoters and everyone that's hiding behind that tab that goes with being a world champion, that's passed on carefully, selectively, and creatively to the networks that pay to make these big fights happen.
So who exactly is saying you don't need to be a champion?
Well, I don't think that they're saying that you don't need to be a champion. They're starting to not put as much importance as having the WBA, the WBO, the WBC, and the IBF all simultaneously. And that's what always defined you being the big dog, being the man in the division. Mm-hmm. Now, since we've had YouTube, celebrity boxing, and you know what I mean, you have the Swaggy P's versus the Blue Faces of the world. You have the Jake Pauls versus the Hassim Rockmans of the world. So you might have the Ryan Garcias versus the Tank Davises of the world. But when you talk about legacy-defining fights, and we talk about what it really means in the sport, the integrity of the sport, it means having all the belts, having all the mandatories, all the responsibilities of being a world champion.
So I'm screen sharing this picture here of Floyd with all the belts. You're saying that he probably didn't pay the sanctioning fees for all of these after a certain point in his career when he started getting into the real negotiations of things.
Well, when you negotiate in a big event, and especially an event of the magnitude of the way Floyd's events go, those are tags, those are bills that, of course, you pass on to the broadcaster. Mm-hmm. What the broadcaster knows is to broadcast this kind of event, this is what it's going to take. And for it to be a sanctioned world title event, right, you have sanctioning fees. But where the common person, where the everyday fan is subject to pain or subject to the stress of their favorite fighter paying the sanction fees, are so remotely not true, right? It's false. It's a fake narrative that we must break down, and we must stop talking about the sanctioning fees and what it means to be a champion. Some of the other belts are motivators. Some of the other belts are stepping stones to get to where the fighter needs to go to. To get to where the fighter needs to go to, both, mentally and physically in the ring. So I understand. I understand each and every process, each and every step, each and every medal. Some fighters will be only intercontinental champions, but some guys will just be couch potatoes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is the nature of the business. But when you say get rid of the belts, I say not get rid of the belts. Let's get rid of the narrative that if two fighters want to fight, they can't fight.
Now, that narrative, are you including, mandatories and ranking situations? Or are you saying, regardless of situation, if two fighters want to fight, they can fight?
It's universal. When two fighters want to fight and they want to make it happen, as long as the skill sets match up, because you have certain. What is the here the sanction? Not the sanctioning. Excuse me. I just had it's
Nevada State Athletic Commission.
Yes, you have the athletic commissions in different states to make sure that the fights aren't lopsided in a way that someone can get hurt. You know what I mean? Because traditionally over the years, when you've had different commissions that were more lenient than others, you had instances where guys got hurt.
For sure. So is it your belief that if Ryan or Tank wanted to fight Devin next, it can happen? Is that what it boils down to, them not asking for the fight?
Well, we have to put the onus on guys like Bernard Hopkins who carry heavy weight and with their every word that they say. You know what I mean? He happens to be a dear brother, a Muslim brother of mine. You know what I mean? So speaking the truth is something that I expect out of him. And and saying that we're going to water our sport down and say now it's about being popular, it's a popularity contest, right? It's false. If a fighter is popular and a fighter brings popularity to the table, well, then he's compensated from a monetary standpoint. But you're not giving any more credence in terms of you being the man or you being, that guy. No, that guy in boxing is that guy that will fight anybody at any time and wins. Not a guy that'll fight only sometime against some fighters, right? It's the fighter that puts it on the line. I'm sure Sugar Ray Leonard, you know what I mean, his head was on the chopping block. Marvin Hagler's head was on the chopping block. Hearn's head was on the chopping block. Roberto Duran's head was on the chopping block. It takes two to tango, It takes 3 or 4, to have that legendary round robin that would happen back in the days, right? It can't only fall on Devin.
But Devin took short money to get to this situation. Is he done with that? Because we know that Tank and Ryan will want the lion's share for the tickets that they draw, the popularity that they believe they have. Obviously, Tank's is more sellable. He's been on pay-per-view and he's sold out region to region.
Let's break down pay-per-view. What pay-per-view is? Let's how many pay-per-views was it?
I would say that the most he's done is 225.
Okay, so let's say 225, but let's give him an extra 25, and let's say 250.
Okay.
Okay, you have 250,000 pay-per-view buyers. You also have another 20,000 people in the tickets. Okay, so you're talking about 275,000 people, right? I chose to reach an upwards of. We were thankful that we reached 3 million viewers. There were 3 million. That's 2,700,000 more different people in a demographic that sometimes can't afford. Thank you. That's 2,700,000 more people that could see the fight that the fight reached, right? So we say that if it's 200,000 hardcore boxing fans, would you say 250,000 hardcore boxing fans? So how many casual fans did he actually draw? If you say that it's only 225 that actually watched the fight, let's slow it down. Let's slow it down, and let's understand that charging 200,000 people for a fight versus giving a fight for free and reach 3 million people. All my people that from Oakland, right? People that are in jail, in prison. People, moms that can't because their bill is already high and you want them to pay another $80. They can't do it. But they pay to keep ESPN running because they got kids that play sports in the house. I reached them. I made a decision and we talked to Dev. I said, I'm gonna bring this to the table, Dev. I know what they saying. But how could 200,000 people that have $80 be successful? How could that be the end all to be all? How do we say that the two audiences don't get together and make a big fight? We keep saying that Devin doesn't sell or don't nobody know. That's the bullshit that they creating. I don't bash them. That's false that they're creating and saying people know Devin all the way around the world. We just performed in front of 40,000 people. But people don't talk about that. Has Tank ever performed in front of 40,000 people that were going against him? Right? You bring us at any part of it, right? We're still a great dance partner, period. And it's for the belts. And really you have, when you say if 250,000 buy the fight and all of them are 250,000 casuals, and I don't mean to call them casuals, right? But it's not for nothing. So everybody is saying, let's make a big fight for nothing. When we didn't have a belt, just like Tank just said, who is he? Is he the email champ? Who is he? Right? Now he has all the belts. he can't be man enough to say, great job. You did a great job. I look forward to having a big event and showcasing what we grew up as little kids doing in front of the world. So it's a lot of immaturity on that side, right?
But you was on the Rise podcast with Calvin Ford. How does Calvin sound? Do they sound like and Kenny? Do they want to fight?
Well, it doesn't sound like they can pull up and do what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of...
They can't... you mean they can't speak for Tank?
No. No, they can't. You know what I mean? And they're good brothers, and whatever that they're doing, I wish them well. I went over there and chopped it up with them. You know what I'm saying? Then I told them, then Blue Blood invited Calvin over to his show and have me, and then we both sit across, or we both, you know what I mean, be able to have.
Did that happen?
No, it didn't.
He said no, or he wasn't available.
Well, he had to go to Top Golf. He said he had to go golfing. We found out it was at Top Golf. Do you consider that going golfing?
Yeah,
I don't golf, but yeah, man,
that's
people
golfing.
like Top Golf. They
That's
do
golfing?
like it. They
That's,
do
that's
like
golfing, Bill.
Okay.
You got a club and a little white ball, and you swing at it, and it fly real far away.
Well, is it a place that you couldn't do a podcast? You couldn't do an interview? You can't pull up your phone?
I'm with you
That's
on
it.
that. I do
Oh,
agree
okay.
that he should have did. I feel like the meeting with you would have been much more important than golfing,
Well, I just
At
thought you
Top
could have
Golf.
just did. Yeah. Well, I thought you could have did the meeting at Top Golf too.
or at least
as well.
zoomed in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what about? Because we heard what you said about Bernard, but have you attempted since leaving Dazn to have negotiations or conversations with Golden Boy for a Devin Ryan fight?
Why would we leave the zone and then start talking to him? We talked about that fight. It's legendary. We even talked about the fight and, you know what I mean, publicly with Bernard about that. We were on the same platform. And Ryan consistently, publicly puts Devin last. You know what I mean? And he said on record that it's his toughest fight. But, Ryan is not the mandatory anymore. So we can't really talk shit to Ryan because Ryan ducked the whole division. He ducked out. You know what I'm saying? He first he was the interim, right? And then he
Vacated.
JoJo
JoJo became interim.
Right. So then JoJo beat Javier Fortuna. Then he comes back and beats Javier Fortuna, the guy that JoJo Diaz just beat. And then everybody says that, including Bo, he says that the fight is big between him and Tank. How could a fight be that big with him and Tank when it's not even necessarily fair? You know what I mean? Is Ryan ready?
I think
Is
they're
he
going
ready?
off the knockouts, man. They see that Ryan could produce some power and Tank produces power, and casual fans fall in love with that. That's what it is. Like, even Bo was like, well, we're going to be waiting all night for Devin to get a knockout. And
Well, it's 200,000. It's 200,000 people that we're saying that are casual fans that are dictating what we think and what we know as intellects, as intelligent individuals. We're saying that it's 200,000 people dictating to us what we think. How many people are in the United States? Huh? No, I'm
Bunch
saying
of
Bo.
millions.
Bo, how many?
A lot of millions.
No.
I don't know the number. You gotta Google- if you Google it,
and I'm
let
gonna
me
tell
know,
you.
I know,
Well,
but I
well,
don't
listen,
know.
we're not concerned about how many, what they doing, and all that, but we're talking about what 200,000 so-called people, and I've never seen the numbers.
I'm going off.
I've
the
never seen the
analytics
numbers.
I'm going off the analytics that I see, and from what I see, I
You don't
think
see any
that
analytics, Bo.
I didn't say who would win.
You don't see any
I didn't see
analytics, Bo.
what
You don't see any
I
analytics,
see
Bo.
Ryan Garcia got 9
Post
million
that-
Instagram followers, which
so,
is more
listen,
than Tank and Devin
listen,
combined.
No, Devin's girl got 5 million Instagram followers, and
still-
does anybody know her?
With
You
all
know what
due
I mean?
respect,
Right?
with all due
Listen, let me
respect,
tell you.
Devin's girl and Devin combined don't have more than
Well,
Ryan.
And I'm saying is, and what does that do?
That's people. That's
That-
people.
Oh, how?
And
Where? Where does it show up at?
Online, we're the same place we watch the fights, through TVs and phones.
Okay, and where does it show up? Show me the analytics that you're saying.
Instagram.com.
Oh man, come on, man. This ain't so now.
Gatorade.com.
Well, listen.
Gatorade.com.
No. So what that does is that shows.
Dior.com.
No. What that shows you is that you can be an Instagram famous fighter, right?
Yes, sir.
And you can get a person like you to yell, scream to the top of your lungs
Oh, I'm not
about no.
If I am screaming, I apologize because
No.
I didn't.
No,
I
what
didn't
I'm
realize
saying
I
is,
was
what
speaking too
I'm
loud.
saying is, you speak with conviction. Is what I'm saying, dear brother. You speak with conviction.
It's confidence.
And listen, and I'm saying is that Instagram followers don't mean anything, brother. They don't mean anything. They don't transition into anything.
The
because
world found him.
That's
on-
what I said.
Well,
If
the
they
world
have-
found
okay.
him there.
If
Why
you-
he not on pay-per-view then?
Yeah,
He is on. How do you watch the zone? You got to pay to watch the zone. You don't watch the zone for free.
Bruh, neither do you watch Showtime. That's a
sir.
$10 subscription.
sir.
And for DAZN, it's $20 now.
Sir, if that's the case, then how many other fighters or how many other guys are on Instagram? And do we thrust now? Do we find the next guy that has 10 million Instagram followers? Is he more attractive?
Jake Paul is Instagram,
But
and
he's
YouTube famous.
converting. But he's converting. That's
And
what I'm
Ryan
saying.
is converting as well.
Who?
Okay.
Gatorade.
I see that you go off perception. Perception is
Reality.
good enough.
No, it's
perception is good
reality.
enough.
They
Well,
say Jesus died on a cross, not a kitchen table.
Yeah,
Perception
well-
is reality.
okay, so why didn't he sell out the last fight?
I have no clue.
He has all the analytics, all the numbers say that he's bigger than Tank.
Do you think him and Tank's pay-per-view would do well?
All the numbers say that he's bigger than Tank. So why didn't he sell out at home? And why was his tickets the lowest of any tickets that we didn't heard of?
I heard Spence tickets was $2 higher when he
I
sold
heard-
40,000.
I heard that they give away the seats, that the seats aren't no big deal.
Was it an ass in the seats or was the seat empty?
I don't think it was,
I ain't mean to like cuss in a disrespectful way,
yeah.
but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that still is does that transition into buys if your numbers, what you're saying, your analytics are correct, sir?
Can he not get the fight he asking for?
Sir.
Like, it's a
No,
lot
no,
of
let's
objection.
not-
I heard people saying, give him Cambosis.
Yes, sir.
Give him Josh Taylor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Give him Victor Postal.
I'm-
I heard
I'm-
someone mention
I'm just
Victor
asking
Postal.
I'm just
Can
asking
he
the
not
questions.
get the one fight that he was on Mike Tyson podcast,
Okay.
standing up in a suit?
Okay, I'm just asking the
out of all
question, sir.
outfits.
I'm just asking the question, sir. If the analytics that you're describing are correct, well, the numbers on Instagram are bigger than Tank's. The numbers on YouTube bigger than Tank's, right? You saying that the analytics are big. Why didn't that transition in his own hometown to being more asses in the seats, sir?
I am uncertain.
Okay. So you think you do agree that your theory can be flawed?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Okay.
But I'm confident in my theory, and I do think Tank versus Ryan is a bigger pay-per-view than most fights out there. I think it's top 3 out of all boxing, Tank versus Ryan on pay-per-view.
Well,
I think
this-
it does
this-
amazing.
But it's all
numbers.
assumption, though,
Yeah.
and that's the difference between Ryan and Jake. People in the chat like, "Oh, Ness, you love social media. Now you're not saying that because Bill there." No, I'm not saying it because Ryan and DAZN have never tested Ryan's social media. They've never put him on pay-per-view to sell and see do those teeny boppers actually convert. Where Jake has been selling YouTube pay-per-view,
So I'm assuming-
DAZN pay-per-view, and Triller pay-per-view, and then he's now selling Showtime pay-per-view. So his numbers have proved to us that they convert.
So
His fan base actually is spending. We're still waiting for Ryan to make his event and show us that his followers actually spend
So
money.
based off your show and your fan base and whatnot, we got a poll up that says which fight sells more pay-per-views. Number 1 is Spence Crawford at 46%. Number 2 is Tank versus Ryan at 42%. And number 3 is Haney versus Tank with 13%. So you got a lot of teeny boppers in your fan base as well, or am I just making a decent point? It may still be wrong, but I think the people want Ryan versus Tank more on pay-per-view. I think it's more popular fight. I think Devin is the best out of all 3, but as far as popularity contest, they win.
Okay.
You can go to a lot of different platforms and sites, and the numbers will show.
yeah,
that they're
but you
more popular.
ended the poll. You ended the other poll. How close was Devin Tank to tank Ryan.
They were both they were tied.
Exactly. So the common denominator is Tank. People want to see Tank versus them. They don't want to see, based off our poll, they don't want to see them versus each other. They want to see them both versus Tank.
I get you.
You know, the thing that I want to put is some integrity back into the sport. The fact that, you know, two world champions, you know, Tank and being a former world champion and a world champion get together and make the fight, you know, and, you know, that's the narrative that, you know, we grew up on. You grew up as a fan, you know, all this new shit, right? It's fine, it's good, but it's not legacy.
The right thing to
It's
do.
not legacy.
The right thing to do ain't always the most popular
Yeah,
thing. So I agree and understand where you're coming from with this being the right thing to do for boxing and you doing the right thing overall. But
Do you
it's
want to
not
be
the most
do you want this
popular
to be
thing.
the best show, or do you just want to get money?
I want both.
Okay, us too.
What you want, Nez? You want to be the best show, or you want to be the highest earning show?
I mean, I think if I'm the best, I'm going to be both. You can't be the best and not be the highest earning.
That's right.
How? Canelo is considered the best. He's the highest earning. You know, Joshua was considered the best in his division. He was the highest earning.
Floyd.
You know, Floyd and Tank. Yo, so let's can we who's making more at 135? Is
Listen.
Tank the money man? Who's the cash cow? Because I know that you guys obviously bring a lot to the table and your opponents have gotten high paydays. But is Tank the cash cow?
I want to think that they've done a tremendous job with Tank and where he is, but they're chasing around Ryan Garcia. You chasing ghosts. I don't believe Ryan Garcia is going to fight him. You don't say that you're the cash cow and you're the money man, and then a guy that doesn't even have a title, a guy with an Instagram following, right? A guy that filled up half of the stadium that you sold out in their hometown tells you what to do, right? But that's because of Bo. That's because of Bo. That's what you get, Bo. I hope you love Tank too. I hope you love Tank. That's why a fighter with an Instagram following.
I'm notoriously known for loving all fighters.
Yeah. Well, a fighter
I get a lot of flack for loving all fighters, win, lose, or draw. Know what I'm saying? It's a hard sport, so I think everybody deserves a lot of credit. But when it comes to popularity,
hey, listen,
you know,
okay,
I feel like I know
a fighter with
I watch all the fights.
Yes,
I was watching Devin on YouTube versus Clay, whatever his name was, in Mexico, and all these different.
Yeah.
I know
a fighter with more
knows.
Instagram followers. A fighter with more Instagram followers is telling a fighter that's a former world champion, a fighter that has a belt, right? A fighter that then sold out arena. He's telling him, you got to do what I say because I got more Instagram followers. That's what you get, Bo.
we going off.
That's what you get.
So it's the people
Yeah.
like what's more popular, not what's more credible. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
That's
all right.
what
Well,
the people
Okay.
like, and most people
Okay.
not that smart.
Well,
to be honest.
Ryan.
They don't even know what's credible in most cases.
Hey, listen, Ryan's more popular, and you guys drove that narrative. Now
He just asked for one fight. He asked for one fight.
Okay,
Can he not get it, Bill?
No.
He been
so he's
asking for that fight for how long?
Exactly.
How
So
long
why
do
can't
it
he
take?
get it? We want Tank to get. We want
But
Bud
Bo,
to get Spence.
but Bo,
And ain't
how
no problem
long-
with Bud wanting Spence.
How long does it take? And doesn't Devin have more right if Ryan was his mandatory?
I thought Devin got to fight Kambosos again. So in the meantime, can we not get Tank versus? You know what I'm saying?
Devin could fight the biggest fight possible if Tank or Ryan step up.
We don't understand, and what we bring clarity to is the pecking order, and bring some respect. This is the boxing voice, the voice of the streets, and we're talking boxing.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Now, if we're talking about popularity, then we might need to bring on Swaggy P. Are we promoting the Swaggy P and Blueface fight?
Swaggy P dropped out because he knew he was going to get knocked out by
Oh,
Blueface.
okay. Okay. All right. Well, like I said, when we talk about our sport, the sport that we drive and we push forward every day, right? That we get on here and everybody is in the chat and they going crazy and all this stuff. That's dictated by the belts. All this you saying now that we don't need the belts and we're going to bypass the belts and what about this fight and all that, man? It don't mean nothing.
I'm under the presumption that Devin Haney has to fight Kambosos again. If I'm wrong, it's new news to me that he didn't. So as long as he got something to do right now that he gonna get paid well for, be on the biggest platform in my opinion, which is ESPN, like it's all good. Why can't Tank and Ryan fight in the meantime? And then the winner get Devin, because they would then be more credible. Know what I'm saying, for that fight, and that fight would be even more popular for Devin and the opponent that wins between Tank and Ryan.
Well,
It's even bigger and better for Devin.
Don't do no matchmaking, Bo.
Again,
you know what
Bo.
I'm saying? Listen, don't do any. Hold on. Don't do any matchmaking, Bo.
Devin busy.
Listen, let me tell you. Don't do any matchmaking, Bo, unless you're going to match Devin against the best fighter that's available.
And we're gonna find out who the best fighter available
who the best
is when
fighter
Tank
is.
and Ryan fight.
Now listen.
Come on.
Listen. Now let me explain something to you. Right? You're saying Tank. Is Tank going to 140 pounds because he wasn't going to go to?
He already been.
But listen, he said he wasn't going back to 140 pounds. That's why he dropped the belt. So is he chasing Ryan? Is he chasing Ryan? Do Ryan got him telling him what to do?
If Tank fight Ricardo Nunez or somebody like that again, I'm gonna be upset. And he got the Ryan Garcia standing up in a suit on Mike Tyson podcast calling him out 3 years ago. Standing up in Dior last weekend calling him out.
And that's what it takes, huh?
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you can do. And he with the work. Ryan Garcia is with the worst promotional company in boxing.
Pull up that picture.
Boy.
Pull up that picture of Floyd with all them belts. One more time.
Got it.
What do you see when you see that picture, Bo?
I see the best ever.
The best ever. Now, are you judging him by being the best ever because you see that beautiful pool table, you see that backdrop, you see all that, that wood and all that, or because it's a nice picture, right? Does you consider him the best ever because the belts, because you see all them belts?
To be the best ever, you got to follow the same route that your son is following.
No.
I
asked you a question. No, I was asking you a question. When you see the picture and you say he's the best ever, is it the best ever because of those belts?
I don't think it's because of the belts.
Okay, so you say the belt. So why is he in front of all those belts?
Because he won them.
And
he owns them.
So, but does that represent anything? Right there, him standing in front of all the belts.
So I thought the highest rating or whatever is to be undisputed, and there's like a lot of green belts on that table. So I don't see no undisputed or nothing. Which Devin got undisputed. I think that kind of trumped 15 WBC belts.
But when he stands in front of all those belts, what is he saying to the world?
There are no words there, so I don't know what he's saying. But
I perceive it. What do the words? What do you perceive?
It is he was one heck of a WBC champion.
Okay, he was a heck of a champion, right?
The best ever.
Yeah, champion.
Okay. Absolutely.
Okay.
That's just my perception. I don't know what you're looking for. You can tell me what I need to be seeing, and I will respect it.
What do you see, Bill? What do you see?
Let me know.
Well, I see legacy. I see a bunch of world title fights. You know what I mean? I see one of the best ever, right? Mm-hmm. And to not have those belts, right? And not have those belts and not kids see that those belts represent world title fights, man, is just doing an injustice and a disservice to the entire boxing community. Mm. You know what I mean? I think that
mute Discord, man.
I think that Mauricio and both Mauricio and his dad did a tremendous job at sanctioning world title fights. Paco is doing a wonderful job.
They ain't gonna be
Daryl, right?
Excuse me one moment, but they won't be able to hear on Discord if I do that.
Yeah, you have to mute it, champ.
All right.
Cool. It's just too many system sounds coming through from over there. We have to go into the settings after the show, figure that out. In the meantime, I do have some questions for the people. change up the floor. I got David Maldonado that says, "What's up, Mr. Haney? How would a fight between Teofimo Lopez versus Ryan Garcia go in your opinion?" I'm assuming he means at 140, since that's, one of Ryan's comments is that he would like to fight Teo at 140 now that he's at 140.
Hey, I'm looking forward to seeing Teo and seeing what Senior and what they got cooking up, and their resurgence back, to the top of the 140-pound division. I'm not sure about this opponent that he has next. Do you know anything about him?
Never heard of Pedro Campa, but I mean, it might be what he needs.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sure it's definitely what he needs. And a fight between both teams, the Garcia family and the Lopez's, would make for an exciting fight. Of course, being a fan of the sport, I know both of the kids, and I know that they would really they would really get up to fighting each other. So, of course, I would love to see it.
I got Killer Kells in Cali that says, what is y'all's relationship with Lorenzo Truck Simpson, and do you think hanging around Dev would mess things up between he and Tank, being that they are boys?
We have a great relationship with Truck. I've been knowing Truck, a lot longer than I think the people have. I know him, I've been knowing him since everyone called him Munchie, right? Since he's been a young. I think it's a sparring session between him and Devin when they were really young as well. I happen to be a friend of the family, so it's anything that I can do to support Truck. He has a good manager and Dirt. You know what I mean? One of my friends that we talk on a regular. So anything that I could do to help Truck, I always did it willingly, unobligingly.
I got James Valdez in San Antonio, Texas. He says, "Does Derek James get Trainer of the Year in 2022?"
Well, Derek always does a great job down there with the Charlos and with Spence and everything that he's been doing. I think that in terms of being trainers and looking to get your fighter up for a fight that they need to get up for, right? I think that me and Devin did a lot by going to Australia, out of our comfort zone, having to have a game plan, having to, cut weight, be strong, you know what I mean? I always cheer for Derek, you know what I'm saying? I always cheer for Derek, but I think that, we did a lot. We did a lot this year, you know what I mean? And I would be remiss to not speak for what we've accomplished by going over to Australia and beating George Kambosos.
Bougie from Broward says, "Salam."
Salam alaikum.
No, that's definitely, is that how you, because I've never seen it spelled like that.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, salam alaikum.
Oh, you probably missing.
Walaikum salam. Walaikum salam.
Oh,
Yes,
walaikum
sir.
salam. So he said, "Thank you for coming. 2-part question. Are we getting George Kambosos rematch in October again? Please say no. And who will win out of Keyshawn Davis versus Frank Barton if they fight on the Spence versus Crawford undercard?" That won't happen. Actually, it could. You're right. Keyshawn is with Bomat, and Martin is with James. I get it now.
Oh, absolutely. That's that would be a heck of a fight between two youngsters that I've seen a lot more of Keyshawn. I haven't gotten a chance to see a lot about Frank from Frank, but I'm sure that Derek will have him ready. Bomac will have Keyshawn ready, but I just don't know if that fight will happen so soon.
The first part of that was Kambosos in October.
Of course, Kambosos he's an option to do. It's something that we signed up for, was to go over and fight him twice. We're willing to do it if it's no other bigger fights to make happen. Devin has always repeated that 135 is not the easiest weight for him. He would probably be more comfortable going up to 140 pounds. But it's a lot of fights that potentially can get made at 135. It's just, can we make them? And if we can't make them, and we've done everything that we can do at 135, then it might be a time to go up to 140.
I would assume your relationship with the WBC is stronger than any other sanctioning body since Devin has fought for all their titles, right?
I would think that we have a great relationship with Mauricio. I don't have a personal relationship with any of the other presidents, but nevertheless, we've always looked forward to getting the belts and representing, and being the champion.
Reason I ask, because if you truly are moving up, I wanted to know, did you guys already have a plan in mind, and did that plan include activating any one of those belts to challenge the champion above at 140, meaning since you're WBO champion as well, challenge, I would assume, Josh Taylor, or the WBC champion, challenge Josh Taylor as the WBC champion at 135? Or do you plan on vacating and testing the water out like a Danny Garcia? He had like 2 interim fights before he fought Paulie Malignaggi at 147 for a title.
Well, that's the thing about a plan. You know what I mean? You got a plan to go at one person, and then you got a plan, so you have a plan to go around another. We've maintained that we don't have any plans. We don't plan like that. We want to make the biggest and the best fights happen. And to do that, you have to be available. Like I said, the narrative that the belts aren't it. You know what I mean? Now that we got them. You know what I'm saying? When all those guys, Tank is the mandatory with the WBA, Lomachenko is the mandatory with the WBO, and I don't even know who's the mandatory with the IBF. But you have the first time in the history of boxing, Bo, that the mandatories don't want to be champions because they're in a popularity contest.
But Bill, Mr. Haney, it's not that often that I hear, oh man, because Devin I think he wins all of these fights. The way he stayed behind the jab, the way he boxes is like George Foreman said, boxing like jazz. The better you are, you know what I'm saying, the more the fans may not be as appreciative of it. Mm-hmm. But I want to see Devin fight champions, and I don't think Ryan or Tank are champions. Like, they got to fight each other while Devin has all the belts. Neither one of them.
I think Arturo Gatti was popular before the fight with Floyd.
For getting beat up.
Yeah, and I think he had 4 or 5 losses at that time, but he was still popular.
Yeah, and he was very, very, very popular. He in the Hall of Fame for getting beat up bad.
Yeah, he was popular. So this popularity shit and this you're popular so you can duck Dev and there's no excuse. This is the same shit. Okay, is this the same shit?
You showed me a picture of Floyd with belts, but the guys arguing about Devin fighting don't have the belt. Devin should be fighting champions like the champion he is. Let them fight each other off.
Does any of this resemble?
Tank has a belt.
Is it what kind of belt is it?
Well,
it makes him the mandatory. Come on, Bo, you sounding crazy today. You
say no more. No, I'm gonna let you say what you said. You can stand on what you just said.
That don't make digress. He's the mandatory for having that WBA.
WBA what? Super?
He got the regular. Super don't get mandatories. Regular makes the mandatories in the WBA. And franchise doesn't get mandatories. Regular in the WBC gets the mandatories. So that's what we saying. Like, if Tank wants an opportunity at legacy, and I think that's what the world is not seeing what Mr. Haney's argument is. It's like we've gone from a generation that wanted to create history to a generation that is counting how many followers you have. And granted, I preach the Instagram and social media following, but we have to see it convert. Like, we have to see him on pay-per-view. We have to. That's the only way we're going to know whether or not these fans are actually going to pay to view him fight. If we're not talking about paying to see him fight, then what do his fans really mean if he didn't sell out in his hometown? Tank is not from L.A. and put 18,000 in L.A.
So
right?
what fight should I be asking for? Should I be asking for Devin versus Ryan or Devin versus Tank?
You shouldn't be asking for a fight.
I'm gonna go with what y'all say is
As a
best.
fight fan, you shouldn't be asking for a fight. You should be asking for fighters and champions to do what's right. What's right? Tank has the regular belt.
So
What's
Tank,
right?
Tank got to wait for Devin to fight Kambosos to fight again.
No. He could call Gilberto and activate, right? Ain't he the mandatory?
Mid Devin Haney's contract to fight Kambosos.
I mean, you
again.
just
He
heard
gonna
Bill.
fight
You just heard Bill say they want to fight the biggest fight.
say no more.
They want to fight
Tank
the
versus
biggest
Devin.
fight.
Let's have it.
I'm just saying.
You listen.
I sound like I've just given in. I've given in.
You whispering. Yeah,
I've given in.
Yeah, so let Tank and Dev. Let's
Tank
just
and
have
Devin,
it.
let's
Just
have it.
now
Let's
you want to
have it.
start whispering.
Let's have
You know
it.
what I mean? Now you want to start whispering when you know that that's the fight where
Let's
a
have it.
former. But listen, this is what we need to put some restoration on the boxing and what being a champion represents. We have to stop saying that it's okay to have a fight and it not be sanctioned.
Let's have it. Tank versus
Right.
Devin.
I just
Tank
don't-
versus Devin 2022.
But you see, there's the argument as hardcores that we should be saying Tank versus Ryan makes no sense. Like, why would two dudes in the same division as the undisputed champ not want legacy? You beat Devin and you're in the history books. It's that simple. And that is the argument. When did it change? That's all.
Let's have it, bro. Let's make it happen and let's have it.
I mean, why are Crawford and Earl trying to fight? Why is that fight so important? Because it's for all the belts. Now, and I get what Bill's saying in the frustration, and obviously I'm going to look like a fanboy, but the truth is, like, first it was you're the email champ. Now we got all the belts. Now it's the belts don't matter. So whatever they do is never enough. You know, you got that belt because Loma didn't want to fight you, so they emailed it to you. Cool. I defended it multiple times. That makes me a real champion. No, they emailed it to you. Cool. I'm fighting in a unification for undisputed in a foreign country. I win that. I'm undisputed now. Oh, well, now you got all the belts, so it don't matter because you ain't got enough followers? Bo, you're tripping as a hardcore.
I said let's have it.
After a fucking 2-hour argument.
Hey, man, I had a preference. I got laughed out the room. Let's have it.
Yo, it was like the whole argument with Wilder and AJ. It's like two dudes gonna unify, and people talking about, no, don't do it because Wilder, what was it? Who are you? You're not known in America. It's like a bunch of excuses, but we're gonna keep it moving. We got Ruin at 504, kind of doubling back. He says, do you guys plan on honoring the rematch with Kambosos?
Absolutely. Kambosos is and he's the highest rated fighter right now that I think that Tank. I don't think Tank has fought or Ryan has fought a higher rated fighter than George Kambosos, right? I believe that Tank is rated higher than George right now. You know what I mean? And it's the kind of fight that the people want to see Devin in as far as legacy. That if Devin is the guy who he is, okay, well, this is another legacy-defining fight, right? It's us that say, oh, that's bullshit, man. Y'all talking about that fighting us, you don't get nothing and all this other shit. So it makes my argument easy. Because I never came up to say what those guys aren't. I came in and said everything that we are.
Mm-hmm.
How can Devin fight Kambosos and Tank? I'm so confused right now. Due to the fact that we're gonna honor the Kambosos.
How could Tank?
Tank has to wait. He has to wait. So, he gonna fight him after he fight Tank?
You're not getting it. But go ahead. You answer.
Who's next?
Listen.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Who's next?
Well,
Because
the thing about it is you guys were discussing Tank and Ryan Garcia before he fought Javier Fortuna, and then got upset that after he beat Javier Fortuna, he mentioned Teofimo Lopez. Hello. When have we started talking about that we couldn't make a fight happen because of another fight? Like I said, Bo, you say everything except let's fight. right?
Man,
You want to
I'm-
pick. You
I'm
want
on-
to pick.
I'm
You
on
want to pick.
the-
So if Devin, that's what I'm saying is, so if Devin vacated the belts,
Okay.
if he vacated the
Now
belts
we
and moved
talking.
up,
Now
if
we
he
talking.
vacated the belts and he moved up to 140 pounds,
Okay.
then what?
He need to fight, I guess, who? Ryan? I don't know.
I know.
No,
I know.
then they gonna say he ain't got
I
no
know.
belts. Why we
Yeah,
gonna
I
fight
know.
him?
Then he needs. You Ryan. You don't know.
Ryan,
I don't know.
there was
Yeah.
a crazy moment in boxing when Dev walked up to Ryan after Ryan was mandatory, and Ryan literally turned it down right in front of his face on TV. I've never seen that happen before. That was a one-off right there. In person, on TV. I've never seen that happen except for in that one moment.
Well, you've never seen
crazy.
what? No.
crazy.
Let's keep it real because it's the boxing voice, is the
Let's go.
voice of the street.
Let's
so
get it. The
we
voice of
got
the people.
So listen. So we got to keep it real. I don't know if you've ever seen where a fighter fights to become the interim champion and then drops the interim belt to become a contender. Have you heard of that, Bo?
Not too often, anyway.
Not too
Nah,
often.
nah, I can't
Have you
recall.
ever heard of it?
I can't, not off the top of my head. I can't recall.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So to be clear,
Mm-hmm.
if a bigger fight presented itself in ample time, you guys as Team Devin Haney and Top Rank can make a fight. And I mean, if Ryan and Tank actually wanted to fight before the October Cambosos date,
Devin and Tank.
No, yeah, because not Ryan. Ryan doesn't want to fight. We're not talking about
Ryan
no
only
Ryan.
want Tank.
No. Yeah, Ryan only wants Tank. I guess Tank only wants Ryan or some shit. I don't know, But of course, that's a fight that any broadcaster, ESPN, Showtime, Dazn, all the majors would love to see Devin.
Mm-hmm.
Love to have Devin against any of those guys. You know what I mean? So where the money is going to come from, how it's going to happen, it's absurd questions, right?
now, I know you made it clear like you rather your son be seen by millions than, a $250,000 that pay $80. But what if that's a sticking point for Mayweather Promotions, who's been consistently having Tank on pay-per-view? What if they don't want to get off pay-per-view?
Well, it's a situation that just happened with the Wilder and Fury where they both had it on both platforms. You know what I mean? We have a great relationship with the people that we're doing business with. You know what I mean? Even Lou DiBella has done a wonderful job. Bob Arum has done a wonderful job with this Cambosos fight, right? And also have done a wonderful job in not getting in my way in terms of letting the people know that Devin is available to make the biggest and the best fights. Period. Right? Ain't no doubt about it. You know what I mean? What we came over and did our co-promotional situation with Top Rank is to make the biggest and best fights. And if Bob, Bob came out and Bob said today, hey, Loma is available. You know what I mean? It's October. Devin is October. Then it's the Loma fight for us. You know what I'm saying? And respectfully, we're saying to George would be doing the same thing. The Spartan that he is, the emperor, the warrior that he is. He was always trying to make the biggest and the best fights. We said, okay, if you can't make the fight with Lomachenko, now give us the same deal that you gave Lomachenko. Right? That's what Devin said. Infamously, we never got a chance to see what the deal was that Loma had on the table, right? But we came to a resolution with Top Rank that we was comfortable with, happy with. We moved on. Now this situation with George, it's not a pay cut. We go out there and fight him again. It's not a pay cut. You know what I mean? It's more money than we've ever gotten. So we back on schedule with the money game, right? But in all fairness and all sincerity, that a fight, we're ready for the biggest and the best fights to happen. And if the people is saying that, and the Australian people and everyone, and they're saying that maybe George can get another fight, a stay busy fight, get on his game, and then fight again. You know, the winner of who and me and Devin and whoever, Tank,
Loma,
Ryan,
whoever steps up to the
whoever
plate.
steps up. You know what I'm saying? Then this is a business opportunity for everybody that's on the table. If that opportunity is not on the table, then we got to do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying? But I get out to champion and get out to make Devin available and let the people know that he's trying to do it. He's trying to do it for them.
Now, I was sent an article on Bad Left Hook with quotes of Bob Arum saying that being undisputed isn't everything it's cracked up to be, and it's about 12%.
Well, bad left hook is wrong left hook because they normally is giving it wrong. You know what I mean? Bad left hook. Now, as far as what Bob is saying about it not being cracked up, he's the promoter. Devin is a promoter. We understand. Floyd is a promoter. We understand because the sanctioning fees to make a world champ is something that the promoter picks up. The network picks up. Unless you have a fighter or unless you have somebody that you've negotiated different. I'm of the mindset that the company is going to pick up any of that.
Yep.
Whether it be DHP, whether it be Top Rank, whether it be whoever. And for that, you go to Showtime, Showbox, right? Early days with Showbox, we knew, okay, he's going to get this Intercontinental belt or he's going to get this belt, NABF belt. Showbox is going to give us a budget for it. We're going to bring in, his opponent. We're going to pay for the belt. We're going to do everything. So all that's factored in. That's not something that I think the fighters and the fans should ever worry about.
All right, we're going to keep these questions coming from the people. I got Scott, the Christian fight fan, says, what up to the father of one of my favorite young fighters in the game to date, Mr. Bill Haney. Thank you for blessing us with your presence on the best boxing podcast in the game, TBV. Do you think Floyd is deflecting a fight between Devin and Tank in the media by mentioning a fight between Devin and Shakur instead?
Oh, absolutely. Floyd is very knowledgeable of the sport. And anytime that you speak about two guys that are in two different weight divisions, and particularly one guy that's looking to undispute in the division that he's in, and one guy that's already undisputed in the division that your fighter is in, and you turn into a matchmaker and match them together. And listen, the people are much smarter than that. You know what I'm saying? We're not blindsided by jury and cars and all those other things. As fight fans, when I step from being a dev to a fight fan, we want to see the best fight the best, and all these other narratives and that's being created of why we can't see it or why it can't happen, needs to stop.
For sure. Moving on, we got Brandon in Houston says, from the manager's perspective, can you explain to our audience the anatomy of a fight being made? By this, I mean I want you to explain in detail from receiving the first call from the promotional company to any possible hurdles to any possible hurdles to the signing of the contract. Thank you.
It can go so many different ways, Ness, and you probably can attest to how many different ways you've seen fights get made between champions and opponents or opponents and champions, and it's no set way that I could describe.
We got New York Bullet that says, what's good, Bill? Blessings. In a perfect world, if you and Devin were offered both the Tank and Ryan fight, which route would you choose first?
Absolutely, we would choose Tank. No doubt about it, for what he has accomplished in the sport, and not just necessarily the asses that he puts in the seats, but he is a former world champion. He's held a IBF belt, I believe. He has held a WBA belt. So, I think that what you've seen with Devin is he's fought his last 4 opponents or have been either a champion or a former world champion as well. So, you know, we're into to fighting the best champions that are available.
All right, we got Houston. Is a sanctioning body ordering a fight your only way out of the Cambosos rematch?
It's not something that we say that we're getting out of. One thing that we use the word is that we have options, you know, and being careful and selective about what option that we go with next is something that you have to do in business. And, you know, that's just where we're at with it.
Jordan Baker in Florida says, what's the biggest changes since the win in Australia? Any new cousins?
No. Listen, it was a great fight in Australia. We had an opportunity to connect with many Muslims that are in Australia, which I didn't know. And so it was a lot of good brothers and sisters that came to the fight that have also been DMing me and stuff like that. So that was a pleasure, and it was also a pleasure to connect indigenous people of Australia who've been in that land, you know, way before Australia was ever settled and made into colonized into the country that it is, as far as I know, that the indigenous people have been there. So it was an opportunity for us to connect and just, you know, to get a bit of history in terms of what Australia is. And you know, it was just a great opportunity from a cultural standpoint. And then to gain more fans in Australia. You know what I mean? It was great. It's always great for DHP in the business of promotion, that Devin is able to go across there and have that kind of fight and then have that kind of reach to come back here to the U.S. and then say, okay, well, so you guys still saying nobody watching him, huh? You know, you still say that 250,000 people, because you get a pay-per-view of 250,000 people, that you too big to fight Dev, right? You too big to make it happen. That all the things that we come back and say that, okay, well, we did this to be the great dance partner, you know, the great dance partner where you had Hagler and you had Sugar Ray, you had Hearns and you had Ray. Well, you have all these guys that have a different level of popularity, and I don't understand where Bernard Hopkins is coming from with who's popular. I mean, who even says that? Who says that? Who's popular? Who says that?
Promoters, because they
Right.
want to believe that popularity turns into revenue.
But if your fighter is the best fighter and you have a fighter that's less popular, like Isak Cruz, like fucking Rolly Romero, like fucking Mario Barrios, right? These guys are great. No, hold on, give me a second. They're great. They're great opponents. If you have another opponent that's a little bit more popular, he's still an opponent. Only time that you start looking at that popularity shit is when this guy is more of a threat than just an opponent. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? And when you say the A side, I've never said the A side about Devin. You know why?
Why?
Because the A side is the one that's scared to fight. The A side is the one that's demanding all the shit. That's what the A side is. You ain't never seen, listen, you ain't never seen a B side with so many demands. The B side wants to fight because the B side knows that it's an opportunity for them to win. So they concede. They don't have the demands. They concede. Now, a B side can really, at times, how many times was Floyd the B side? I know Oscar was one, right?
Oscar, maybe with Gotti. You know, because that was the first pay-per-view. So maybe with Gotti, definitely with Oscar.
So that'll show you that just because you're the B side, that doesn't make you the bad fighter. It's not always that the A side is the fighter, the favorite, the one that's the big dog. Sometimes the A side is the one that's running. How many times have they said that, you know, the people said that Canelo was the A side, but he was running? How many times did they say that Floyd was the A side and he was running? right? How much are they saying that Ryan is the A side over there with Bo, and he's running?
Hey,
Bo, it's Bo.
You gotta ask me. Don't just put words on me.
No.
You gotta ask me.
How many times in fights has Ryan been considered the A side and he's running?
All of them. He been
Running.
the A-side.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying is I've never said that A side, B side bullshit, right? Because we ain't never been running.
Let's see. So we got some super chats here. Zion Flores, Shakur beats Haney at 130 and 135. I kind of answered this one because it's like he obviously never go down to 35. To 30. But what's your thoughts on the possible matchup between those two?
Oh, that's a future blockbuster right there. You know what I mean? One thing about them is that they've never been shy about fighting the best, and when that time comes, you know what I mean. It's going to be a treat for the fans and a treat for the ages. It's one of those kind of fights that, I mean, if you saw, you see how many people just watched a sparring session. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And giving Core his full credit. Core was a bad motherfucker before the sparring session. People just didn't know who he was. You know what I'm saying? They knew more who Devin was, right? And that'll be something that'll definitely be a treat.
I got Ryan versus Tank is the biggest fight to make. The Floyd and Oscar background alone is enough to make any fight epic.
I didn't say that, Bill.
So
I didn't say that. They said that.
Do you think the fact that both of them have legendary promoters who were legendary, not legendary promoters, but they have promoters that were legendary fighters, makes that fight bigger because these are their, what's it called? Like not pupils, but their predecessors?
What? The legendary, say it again.
So Floyd and Oscar are both great fighters, great promoters, but they're legendary fighters. So this super chat is asking, do you think that makes their fight with their predecessors bigger because it's two legendary boxers as promoters for these two younger versions of themselves?
Well, I mean, we have the legend of all legends, the Hall of Fame promoter, and Bob Arum. What does that mean? Let's say.
Well, again,
I don't
Bob's
understand.
a legendary promoter.
Uh-huh.
These guys were legendary fighters. Like Oscar's the golden boy, and Floyd is Floyd Money Mayweather, right? So it's like, do they give shine to their fighters now because those are their predecessors? Like, obviously, Ryan is the new golden boy, and Tank is the new cash cow.
It makes for a great fight for nothing.
And for nothing, you mean because there's no belts on the line. Got it.
It's the greatest fight for nothing that we've built up. You know what I mean? At least with Crawford and Crawford and Spence, that's for welterweight supremacy. You got Manny and Pacquiao. Manny and Floyd. That was for welterweight supremacy. Correct, right? As well, right? And then we got this fight that we keep talking about that's for nothing. You see what I mean? But our whole thing was to get all the belts and be as disruptive as possible to show the people that what really it is. You know what I'm saying? So now they come back and they say, oh, the belts don't matter. The belts don't matter. Yeah, since when? Since when? I got you. Since when?
We actually have a super chat from Big Super Mex who says the answer to that is, it changed when Floyd said, legacy doesn't feed my children.
Okay.
Do you think Floyd changed the perception of history? Because you're right. You're paying sanctioning fees for these belts. They do bring you more money as a champion, though. Your purse goes up, but you can't feed your kids with those belts in some weird... I think the opposite. You become a champion, you get more money.
Well, we can say that he was a better champion than he is a promoter, right? He had a lot of truth in his fight game, but the waters get a little bit murky when it comes time to him actually promoting Gervonta Davis and the way that he fought, because he's not promoting him the way he fought. So when you tie all these legendary things and, you know, his legendary fighter and all this other shit that I don't even think about, because that's not the way that he's promoting Gervonta. Gervonta is not Floyd. Floyd is not Gervonta. What we're dealing with right now is the undisputed champion of the world at 135 pounds. The king of the division is Devin Haney. We talked about it was 4 kings, right? What happened to the 4 king talk?
They moving up
Now, we done went from 4 kings to
to 1. To 1.
I hear you back there, Bo.
Hey, man, I ain't said nothing.
I heard you
One thing
back there laughing.
I believe one thing you know about me, if I say something, Bill, I'm going to say that and stand on it.
I
well,
got Victor Banuelos. What's up, Mr. Haney? Thank you for bringing the belts back home. Would Haney be willing to fight at 147 against someone like a Thurman or a Danny Garcia just to shake up the game?
No, we're not going to disrespect the boxing and disrespect the game like that and start calling out 147 pounders and shitting on them and shit like that. That's not it. You know, that's not it for us. Any fighter that fought at 147 that will go down to 140 and meet us at 140 is all, you know what I mean? That's good. But who you said, Keith Thurman?
Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia.
Yeah, no, they're 47 pounders, real 47 pounders, moving up to 54 and all that kind of shit. So no, I'm not going to insult them.
I got Oscar, who says, no matter what happens, if Tank nor Ryan fight Devin at 135, they got to see him at 140 with all the straps by then, because we all know that is bound to happen. Devin will be undisputed at 140 as well. All roads will lead to Devin.
Absolutely.
You think he'll be undisputed at 40 again?
Absolutely.
So
we're going to do the same shit. We're going to do the same shit, 35, 40, 47. We're going to do the same shit. We came in the game, you know what I mean, wanting to you know, put ours on the chopping block, you know what I'm saying, for the people. If you say that this fighter is the fighter, right, then we want to see. We want to see what how his style matches up against Devin. We think, and I believe that Devin has, he's the quintessential boxer. He's what, you know what I mean, comes around every 25 years. You know, you have someone that can neutralize anything that anybody brings to the ring. And Floyd talked about that. He told you guys, he says, I'm going to take away what your favorite fighter does best, right? And guess what you said? You said he was boring. You said all these things. And people don't want to keep it real and say that a lot of the similarities of what people are saying and the road that Floyd had to travel is very similar, you know, to what Devin is traveling, except that Devin is more accomplished at 23 than Floyd was.
very true. We got Dewey Jones Jr. $10 super chat says Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore.
Be more. Stand up.
Where is Blue Bill Will? I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure. Shout out Baltimore.
Haley Thompson says, they say there's too many belts, so they don't matter. That argument is BS because Devin has them all. The straps are unified. Stop ducking Devin Haney.
Absolutely. You know, or just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Like the brother said, this is the boxing voice. This is the voice of the people. And we got to just keep it real. You know what I mean? The goalpost is being moved, and we're getting a chance to not blame it on the working class, the people that survive off of, you know, YouTube, the people that survive off of the training and coaching. You know what I mean? We have to put the onus at the top of the game. Now we got to ask the Bernard Hopkinses of the world, the Floyd Mayweather Juniors of the world, the Oscar De La Hoyas. What the hell do you mean that the belts don't matter? The only reason that you guys are the guys that you are is because of the belts that you held. Mm-hmm. Other than that, what do you have? You didn't have breaking numbers until you became the world champions that you are. Till you beat the champions that were champions. The Gennaro Hernandez's of the world and stuff like that. Till you beat him to become champion. And you heard Floyd, rant and rave. He was chasing world champions then. Was he or was he not? Mm-hmm. It was a time that he was chasing them, right?
Calling out Mosley.
Yeah. So when you have
calling out Oscar.
Right. So when you have a fighter like Devin, right? You have a fighter like Shakur. You have these guys that grew up watching these guys in their pursuit of greatness. And it was always tied to a world championship belt. And now the guys that have laid out what they call the green print, the blueprint, and so forth, and none of that has belts and championships are tied to it, well, we're doing an injustice to these young brothers and sisters. We're misinforming them. We're misdirecting them. And we need to get them back on the track that being a world champion means something. Just like it meant to Sugar Ray Leonard, just like it meant to Mike Tyson, just like it meant to, all of the great champions. Roberto Duran, right. Jack Johnson. What Jack Johnson went down and did in Australia is similar to what we went down and did. Everyone said that you was gonna get robbed, you're gonna lose, all the stuff. We put our faith in Allah, and we went to Australia and accomplished what we accomplished. But instead of actually reporting it and talking about it and saying it means, they're downplaying it. They're downplaying it and saying, okay, well, George Kambosos, he wasn't nobody, and George Kambosos is a tough and rugged and good fighter, right? Period. I don't take anything away from him. And I wouldn't advise anyone to come on here talking shit the way that I talk if you don't have a fighter like Devin Haney. The reason why I get fly and I pop it is because of Devin. Because of what he brings to the table. His work ethic, his skill set, his commitment, his drive, his mental fortitude. That's why I come on here and I do what I do.
You got the mad with that Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson, what the fuck? No way he did with Jack Johnson. They don't like that you said that.
Well, you got to tell the truth. What he went down and did and what he accomplished, being a heavyweight champion and going down there and winning. Right? And it was against odds. They the deck was stacked against him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes, when it came to doing the business. He was treated unfair, but he did something that no one had did. And it's no different. I didn't see the line was around the corner for George Kambosos. I didn't see it. He said he chose us. I think that we were the last person that was standing that was willing to go over there for that type of deal, for that type of situation. I didn't see the line around the corner, but I did see that Ryan Garcia said he was going to fight George Kambosos after he beat Devin. Mm-hmm. He picked George Kambosos to beat Devin, and he was going to fight George Kambosos. But,
Devin won, and those plans changed. We got Dewey Jones Jr., Bill Haney, Trainer of the Year. Do you think you get it?
Like I said, my guy is young. You know what I mean? We're young and in the game. Any kind of accolade like that, or anyone saying, just mentioning me amongst those bad jokers, the Derek Jameses of the world and Eddie Reynoso's and all the other guys that have been trainer or considered trainer of the year is an honor for me. You know what I mean? I just want to do my job. I want Devin to be happy with it. And, we set out to do one thing is for Devin to join the Mount Rushmore of boxing, for his face to be mentioned and named and all that with the greats of the sport. And to do this, you know what I mean, we're just getting started.
I got Boxing Talk 101. I'm real high on Amari Jones. Been watching him in the gym since he was 15. Can Bill speak on him a little bit?
Amari Jones, hell of a talent, 6-0 with 6 knockouts. He's from that Bay Area. He's from that soil, that grit and that grind. You know what I mean? That Bay. You know, he's a fantastic young man, though. You know, outside the ring, he's humble, a good kid, comes from great stock, good parents. You know, we expect some good things out of Amari Jones. He's definitely going to be a future world champion. He'll be fighting in Sacramento. I'm sorry I can't give the date right now offhand, but I think it's the 8th or something like that. What is
I
it?
want to say the 6th or the 5th, no?
6th or the 5th. Yeah, I don't want to jump up. I don't want to start guessing and giving the wrong date, but if you can pull it up, we sure would appreciate it. And anybody that's in Sacramento, come out and watch AJ.
Maybe you right. Let me ask Danny, because the 8th looks like a Thursday.
Let me see. I'll go look on his gram.
But we are joined by Bill Haney, father, trainer of, and manager of Devin Haney. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Get this to over 1,000 thumbs up. Let the algorithm know we had what should be at least manager of the year or trainer of the year, without a doubt, for 2022 with what he's been able to accomplish for his son. We got Andre
August 5th. August 5th, Sacramento, California. Yep, Sacramento, California. Be sure, everyone, to go follow official Amari Jones for any of the details. Official Amari Jones. Follow Devin Haney, real Devin Haney. And you'll both get it on their page. Mine's is BH_the_great. And we'll keep you always up to date with what's going on with DHP.
We got Andre Dakota in New Jersey that says 9 million followers but can't sell out the crypto arena at a cheaper price point than Tank. Ryan fight should be pay-per-view like Canelo if he is that big a star.
Hey, these guys and girls are doing wonderful jobs marketing and promoting themselves on Instagram. Like I said, that, you know, Dev's his girl is on there, and it's a hell of a business, you know, in terms of marketing, what you can do with your Instagram page. I don't take anything away from those that have Instagram followings. I don't take anything away from fact that fighters can be popular. But what I do have a problem with is that you let the popularity override what it means to be a champion, what it means to be an undisputed champion. And us as boxing hardcore fans, you know what I mean, we have a problem with that. That doesn't make sense. Our champions of yesteryear that we that resonate with us so well were champions. They were in championship fights, and that's what it meant. It means a fight for those belts. And what you have in us that's different than what you might have in a Canelo or you have in other champions that are undisputed in their division is that we're still hungry, that we still want to prove that we're the best in our division, right? We don't want to just drop the belts. We don't want to just do all that. We want to prove that we're the best in that division, and before we move up to 140.
All right. We got Rob Keysor that says Tank versus Devin for undisputed is way bigger than Tank versus Ryan. People need to stop believing in BS. Ryan has never had a title or did anything in boxing. Yeah. Are they the same age?
23. Both Ryan and Tank. Both Ryan and Devin are 23, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Larry Smooth says, yes, Tank is the cash cow at 135. Bill can't answer that. It's simple. Yes or no question.
I don't know if he's the cash cow. I don't know because when you say cash cow, why aren't his opponents getting paid as if they're in an event with the cash cow? Hello.
I mean, you had to have heard Rolly came out of that well, right? Like, that's the rumor in Vegas, that Rolly did so well he got extra. You haven't heard it? swear to God, you haven't heard that. Word. Yo, it's all over Vegas.
Listen, Broly is the first person that I've ever seen get knocked the fuck out and then come outside the next day as if nothing happened. When have you ever seen somebody get knocked the fuck out and it's like nothing ever happened?
Man, he's got a big spirit.
I don't
he
know
want to
what.
let that keep
listen,
him down.
Listen, I don't know what he has. I think that you have a bunch of people that are comfortable with making a mockery of our sport, right? They're comfortable laughing. Look at the guy that seems like he's a little slow, say all the crazy shit. Look who he said it about. Look, he said it about Earl Spence. He said it about Crawford. That shit is, man, come on, man. Listen, me, myself, when I saw the kids that weren't 100% all the way there, I didn't do all that laughing and playing with them. I went the other way. You have some people that like to want to sit there and fuck with a person that might not 100% be all the way there. And we're laughing and we're joking, right? No, it's funny. See, it's funny. It's not funny to me.
But Terry, you trying to call him slow. He just made the biggest career of his life. Payday, he was in a fight. He sold the shit out that pay-per-view.
But he didn't get paid more than Linares. He didn't get paid more than.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. He didn't get paid more than Jojo Diaz. He didn't get paid more than. Definitely didn't get paid more than
Kambosos.
No, definitely not. You know what I mean? So when we talk about these,
I mean, you've been on vacation in Devon too. Heavy rumors. Heavy rumors out here that he got paid handsomely, that he was given extra. That Espinoza came to the locker room and was like, "Man, you did good. We want you back." So I don't know.
No, I don't believe any of that shit. I've never heard where a person gets knocked out and they get extra. I've heard rumors that when you win, you know, you did a great job and you can get. I've never heard somebody get knocked the fuck out in the sixth round and get money. And the guys say that you don't even deserve a rematch, and you get extra money. Extra money for what?
I mean, they sold out the crap. That they broke records in Barclay.
I think that if he fought Devin, they would have did the same thing.
I'm just saying.
I think if
Thurman in his prime versus Danny in his prime didn't sell out the Barclays, and Danny had multiple fights there.
So you say if it would have been Devin and him fighting, do they sell it out?
In the Barclay?
In the Barclay.
Devin only fought as close as Baltimore in the East,
I said if Devin and Tank fought in the Barclay, you don't think that they sell it out?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
of course,
so because of
course.
that fight. It's a big fight, and those guys have. I mean, look, Damon Litter went to fucking Australia. Like, they have celebrity friends that will get the word out.
We don't take anything away from what Al Heyman and what Floyd do when it's time to make an event. Mm-hmm. I always say that Al goes back to when I'm in the car with my dad. I'm listening on the radio and I'm hearing the Budweiser Superfest presented by Al Heyman. So when you talk about throwing 2 or 3, 4, 5 parties out the year, right? And that's all they are for Al, is their parties, right? The events where he has a button, he pushes, and it goes out direct email to all the super fly people in the world, all the beautiful people of the world, right? Boom. We got an event at the Barclay. You're invited. Tickets will be where the ticket's supposed to be for you. Mm-hmm. Them making that event with 20,000 people, I think that Al Heyman will do that in his sleep until the day he dies. He will be able to make that happen. It's a party when Tank fights. You know about the party. You know about the people that come out, right? And but that still has nothing to do with being undisputed. That has nothing to do with being a world champion. Nothing at all to do with that. I think if Tank, because that's a great group over there with what Leonard is doing, and Floyd and Al, if Tank was to leave today, would he do the same numbers at the Barclay?
If he left
Would it
Floyd.
be the same? Yes, if he left Floyd.
So you think there'll be a drop off if he don't got the machine of Mayweather behind him?
Major. And let me tell you why. Because why would you build something and how did you build it and you say that the only way that it's going to be all right is unless it's with Al and Floyd. Floyd says he going to be A-OK. He going to be all right as long as he's with them. Well, I wanted to build the thing with Devin is that he's going to be okay whether I'm alive or not.
Mm-hmm. But it's different. You're his father.
Well, he said that Al is a father figure, and they say with Javante he hasn't had a father. So he needed somebody to come in. What? No, they said he didn't have a father.
So you try and say Floyd got to step up?
Well, Floyd has stepped up.
But
Floyd has stepped up.
Not in a full father role. He got his own children. It's different, the love for your child and the love for someone else.
Well, anytime you tell a grown man that they need to stay with you for the rest of their life for them to be okay, then the relationship must run a little bit deeper than just casual.
Is it your belief now that you're with Top Rank, you've been on Showtime, and you've had business with Dazn, do you think that if Tank signed to Top Rank, he can still do the numbers he does? His events won't be what they are with Top Rank. 84 years in the business.
Well, it's a different business. It's a different business, a different audience. You know what I mean? It's a different audience. And I think he would have to take a step back to step up. You know what I mean? And that's just my belief.
I got Nico Dinero. This is not the belt era no more, Bill Haney. I mean, it is true.
That's somebody.
True.
That's
it's
somebody.
not what you want to hear, but Jake Paul doesn't have a belt, and he represents big time boxing. Canelo can do what he wants. He just moved up to 75, big fight, no belt. Yes, there was one on the line, but it wasn't his.
No, the other day.
If Floyd comes back, which he said he's coming back, does he need a belt?
Last month, Bill needed to sign with Top Rank. Bill needed to make sure Devin needs to sign with Top Rank. He needs to, if he really wants legacy and he really wants the fights, it was a big deal. But now it's not. It's no longer the belt era. Man, please, if we don't knock it off, listen to this.
You gotta believe that some fighters need the belt to be positioned. Others, like a Tank, he don't need the belt.
Well,
he get in a fight with Devin without a belt. He get in a fight with Ryan without a belt. Both men want to fight with him, and he ain't got no belt. Shakur talking about him. He ain't got no.
Well, no,
belt.
it's always and will always be the era of the people. Mm-hmm. Now, if the people say that this guy is a hell of a fight, it's a tall task, it's something, it's a dangerous fight, well, that's the fight that we want. It's not about the belt. It's not about it's the people. It's what the people say that the tough fight is. Now, I came on here, I said, okay, you guys want to see, you'd prefer to see Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Why? Is it more of a competitive fight or is it a popularity contest? I would want to see my favorite fighter, being challenged best, where he could come out he would come out most glorious. The best that the fighter can come out by fighting the fight that's the toughest fight. You don't fight easy fights. You don't want your fighter that you believe in fighting easy fights. Do you want to see Steph go against LeBron, or do you want to see Steph go against Carmelo?
Sport.
Not Carmelo. Melo.
Different sport, though. Neither one of those men will get hurt, to the point of retirement, or rather, the probability of that is less. It's greater than when you're a boxer. If the best fight the best, one of those guys might not keep fighting. Look at Wilder. It's questionable whether he's coming back because the best fought the best 3 times. So it's like,
that was a hell of a fight, wasn't it?
It was, but now
that was historic. Yeah.
They both retired. I mean,
Yeah.
Fury saying he's done. Wilder's kind of like, am I done? I don't know.
Those big fights take a lot out of you.
They do.
You know what I mean?
They
take
do.
a lot out of you.
And you got to admit, if Devin fights Tank or Ryan represents some sort of power, you're asking for a rematch clause. Your promoters or your business partners, they're going to insist on a rematch clause, no?
Well, the thing that we insist on doing everything that we can do to make the fight happen. When things become unrealistic, right, then, of course, the fight can't happen, right? But I can't go into it and say what we will do, what we will give up, what will happen, right? We've learned publicly that's something that you can't do.
But that
Publicly,
is,
you have
though.
to do-
You're the
Yep.
champ with all the belts. How
Yeah.
could you not say, yeah, I want to rematch? I did all the heavy lifting.
Yeah,
I went
well,
to Australia.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you go into it and you hope that you can demand certain things, and sometimes that you can't demand the things that you'd like to demand. Sometimes you have to take certain things, and it works on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
It works on both sides. It works for whereas you see Ryan Garcia as an opponent. He's the B side, but the A side is now people are saying that he might have to concede to some of the demands from the B side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm laughing at it because they just said that they don't concede. They say that they don't bend. They don't fold. It's their way or the highway. But now you have people that are Tank fans that have folded like lawn chairs.
But that's the fans, not the team. I don't think that the team is going to give Ryan the opportunity at 40 where
The fans
it's better
dictate.
suited.
The fans dictate everything. The fans
Not
listen.
the weight.
Listen, no, the fans are saying that. Well, you have a. To me, I'm seeing a general consensus of people that are saying that. Yeah, they fight Ryan and meet Ryan's demands. Then you have another general consensus of people to say, no, he's not the A side. He can't demand shit. You see what I'm saying? But to me, the fact that it's even conversation lets me know that that's not where they want it to be, because they said it's not even conversation. There's nothing to talk about. You take this as our way or the highway. We got a certain way of doing things and a certain way we operate, and if you're not with it, then that's not with it. Well, that's not what Oscar and Ryan has come out and said. You even hear Oscar saying that it's got to be did on both platforms, on Dazn, but you don't hear the people saying shit. The people say that me
Because that's
but when I
becoming
say-
more common. It's becoming more common.
Well, just then when I said the fight could be on Showtime and could be on ESPN, everyone didn't understand what I was saying. That's what we talked about when we first came in, right?
I mean,
And-
we seen that with Wilder Fury.
right.
Co-promotion. So, and we've seen that with Top Rank. We know it exists.
It exists.
We haven't seen it with DAZN. Joe McCroskey was on Twitter the other day making it clear that, he sent Espinoza some emails to reference Tank, but we'll see what comes from that. We got Fred Robinson. Bless up, Bill. Keep doing what you do. I would love to see Devin take out Josh Taylor. Now, that's the end of his question, but I got to add, is that something that would happen since this camp for Kambosos had no, that I know of, it had no Ben Davidson involved? Is Josh Taylor on the menu now?
Josh, we've always maintained a close relationship with Ben Davison and Josh Taylor. That's a fight that we had never considered, right? We've never talked about it publicly, privately, or anything, being that we've always compared so many notes with Ben in terms of what they do, what they bring to the table with Devin. He's carefully critiqued Devin as well. So it's just something that we've never entertained.
We got Kenichi Bear headphones that says, Mr. Haney wanted to congratulate you and Devin for making history at 135, and I hope you're enjoying the headphones that Kenichi Bear family. When Devin was here,
Yes,
we
yes.
gave him some phones. We got Gaio07. It says, oh, that's not for you. That's he wants, but he did say shout out to Team Haney though. He wants to get Bernie the Boxer on. We just had him on yesterday, so you could just reference that on YouTube or iTunes, iHeart, or Spotify. Next up, somebody please go look at Ryan's followers. You'll see nothing but bots. Those are bought followers. Please, please, please go look. Yeah, I doubt it, man. I think that the powers that be would have had that audited a long time ago. Ism J says, Bill, can you put Oakland in Devon's ring intro somehow?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, we got Doc Dre that says, no way George Kambosos camp or promoters put up a high 7-figure or low 8-figure purse to lose to Devon again. That's why he ain't screaming for it. George Kambosos is rich because of Devon Haney.
Shout out to George and Jim, you know what I mean, and all that they've accomplished financially and you know, and you know, inside the ring as well, you know. So anything that they're doing, you know what I mean. I'm a fan of the sport. I hope that they're well, you know, and ready to go. If we should be only, you know, if that should be our fight that we have next. I have nothing to say ill towards, you know, George. You know what I mean? Like, but you know, this is about, you know, the fighting the biggest and best fights and making them happen. You know what I mean? The fight was to us was, you know, the second fight would need to present some challenges that the first fight didn't. You know what I mean? For us to get up for this fight, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, George, you know, you raising your hand, you know what I'm saying? And we respect the fact that you're raising your hand because a lot of fighters be ducking Dev, you know what I'm saying? So I got to be careful with how I describe George, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I want to let the people know that I look at him and I hold him in a higher esteem than some of the other fighters that they hold in a high esteem because George is willing to fight Dev, not once but twice. So, yeah. You know, it's just the nature of the business.
Any word from Top Rank on Lomachenko and availability? I know we spoke before, and it sounds like maybe he wants a tuna.
Well, I don't know. I'm very careful and selective with my words when it comes to Lomachenko because we're competitive from a fight standpoint, but also I'm heartfelt in terms of what everything that him and his family and his team are going through in the Ukraine. You know, it's a very unfortunate situation for on both sides. You know, it's what I've been described as young. I heard, you know, young men fighting, young men dying and fighting, and old people just you know, doing politics, so to speak. You know what I mean? I don't quite remember the phrase, but it was something like that. And you know, it's a war, man, and that's something that I couldn't even wrap my head around. You know what I mean? You know, it being a war here on our soil, and we being attacked, and you know, you having family members and stuff that's on the actual battlefield. Whether Lomachenko is on the battlefield or not, I know he's going through a lot by, you know, for what his country is going through. So, you know, we would definitely. You know, entertain giving him any opportunity at feeding his family, at bringing light to his situation. But at the same time is we can understand that if he's not available to fight Devon in October and he needs to get, you know, needs to do something else.
Mr. Haney, much love to you and your family. I have to go to job 2 of 3. And I don't want you to talk behind my back while I'm gone. So hopefully I know we'll bump into each other again, and it'll be just as much respect, and we'll converse again just as we did today.
What fight you want to see?
I want to see Tank versus Ryan, and I want to see Devin versus Tank as well. So whatever I get first, I'll be ecstatic with.
You gonna get what you asked for first. You ain't put the one in
well,
the one we want
get
first.
Devin versus Tank, and then I hope I get Tank versus Ryan.
Okay. All right. Well, you gave it the right order. Because they're world champions, right?
Yes.
And you like to see Ryan Garcia.
The sport,
you like to see Ryan Garcia get a belt and become a world champion. That's what you'd like to see him do.
Honestly, I don't care if he became a champion.
Oh, so you don't
Mr.
care?
Haney. I just want to see him fight Tank. Just
so
like I
you-
want to see him fight Devin, but he's scared of Devin, so I don't even expect that.
So you wouldn't want a 23-year-old kid that has been training and fighting all his life that's a multi belt winning amateur ever become a world champion as a pro?
I don't even know if he want to do it because he had the opportunity and he
Bo.
literally turned it down
Yes,
on
sir.
TV. I
Bo,
told you
I
I've
was
never
just
seen
ask-
somebody do that before.
Okay, but I was just asking you, Bo, would you like to see a kid that's a multi-division trophy-winning amateur become a professional champion? Would you like to see that?
Based off what I've seen from that guy, I don't think he wants it. So I don't want nothing for him that he don't want for himself.
Bill, he ain't gonna answer you, Bill.
That's the answer. If he don't want it, I don't want it for him.
I hear you.
If Ness don't want the Kia Telluride and he want the Corvette, I want the Corvette for
Oh,
Ness.
shit.
Just like Ness want for himself.
Hey, listen, for me as a boxing fan, right? If I've got a chance to see fighters that are amateurs and they continue in the sport and they do everything that they need to do and their discipline and all that, I want to see them have an opportunity at becoming a world champion. You know
He
what I mean?
had it and he turned it down right in front of all our faces.
Bill, so obviously you working with Dazn, I'm sure they would tell you what your son would do. Did you ever get viewership?
You know what? I don't really remember. I knew that they were always happy with the viewers, the viewership. You know what I mean? After each and every fight, they're saying that it's getting more, and I don't really remember the numbers.
So you wouldn't be able to tell us if he had more people watching him than Tank had buying him.
Oh, he definitely had more people. Eddie would always make reference to that it's more people that's watching Dev than people that are buying Tank.
All right. We got Faith to Live By, says, Mr. Haney, salute to you, sir. You and Dev are a role model for the community in so many ways. Just tell the truth. The guy's afraid to take the L. I guess he meant from Dev. The champ got to beg contenders to fight him. Very true.
Yeah, it's the nature of the business because we do it for the people, by the people, of the people. And, this is what it means. It means that in those barbershop conversations, those beauty shop conversations, those conversations at work, you know what I mean, by the water jug, right? You want to know that, you want to see and you want to talk about your favorite fighters fighting, and Devin's name comes up amongst those guys. And, we want to be available. We love and appreciate all the energy that everyone puts to push this sport forward. But you also have a responsibility, and you have a responsibility to put your name in the hat to fight. That's the responsibility of being a world champion. That's what the responsibility of saying that you're one of the best in this sport that we love so dearly.
The Axiom, Bill out here serving up the ether. We got Dragon Beans. Did Ryan bust Devin's eardrum in the amateurs?
Never has that happened, and I think that Henry Garcia, his dad, I don't know what part of the clout chasing that he, because traditionally that's not really Henry Garcia. If you ever see, we post up, we put all the stuff up that we've done to Ryan Garcia, beat the shit out of him more than once or twice, in the amateurs. Never has Devin had a busted eardrum. Never has he been stopped. Never has he had an 8 count, bloody nose, bloody lip. None of it. You know what I'm saying? I've
been testing that. People has anyone told you?
No.
Like, I'm consistently asking people now in the gyms, like, oh, so y'all sparred Devin? Has he ever had a busted nose? Because Bill got me out here chasing.
Yeah.
And nobody, and like trainers too. I'm asking trainers everything, and people like, you know what? I never seen him with a bloody. I'm like, what?
Right.
It's crazy.
No,
it's a lot of years, man.
Yeah, a lot of years, and that's a lot of focus. Like I said, he's, you can't take anything away from these other fighters because they're really, really, really good. You know what I mean? But it's just something that's special about Dev, and I can only say that it's a gift from Allah. That he's a fighting motor scooter, man.
For sure.
Can I use the restroom?
Of course. Babe, show him where the restroom is. Just go out the door. So in the meantime, I want you guys to head on over to our Patreon because Danny is in Philadelphia right now. And he's with Bozy Ennis and with Jerron Ennis. So I'm going to put that post in our live chat so that you can drop a question to Jerron right now and, you know, be able to express yourself and have him answer your question personally. So hopefully you're already part of our Patreon page because you love the channel and you want to support and you always want to get your question in. But if not, no worries. You can still go ahead and get your question in now as we wait for Mr. Haney to use the restroom. We're going to get to all your super chats that you have for Mr. Haney before he has to go. Don't worry, Intrigue. I'm going down the order. But if you haven't already done so, don't forget to drop that question for Jerron Boots Ennis and Bozy Ennis, man. And Bozy Ennis, who's going to be out, who is in the gym. Shout out to Danny. He just got to Bozy's gym, but he was also at Tevin's gym. And then he'll be going to Danny Garcia's gym. So it is going well for him in the city of Philadelphia. Once again, if you want to ask Jerron a question, click the link so that you can do so. And it will be asked to Jerron Ennis and Bozy Ennis personally, you know, with your name. Right now, it looks like we are at 1,197 people. So we're about 3 people away from 1,200. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and click that notification bell so you get notified every time we go live. And, you know, you can rock out with us on a day-to-day basis. Looks like we got Mr. Haney back, so we'll keep it moving. We got GB Lifetime Videos. Mr. Haney, will we see Haney versus Tio at 140?
Absolutely. That's a fight that's something that could be on the menu. We have to give Tio and Senior time to go in and handle their business next. I wish them well, and hope that they can get have a resurgence back to the top of the division, where we love to see them and had fun with them and enjoy them being. You know what I mean? I don't like the quiet Tio or the quiet Senior. Do you?
Well, I mean, maybe that's what he needed, right? It's to focus.
But do you like that though? I don't really like that. I like Tio Senior.
I don't. I want to be entertained, so I definitely need a vocal person. But I understand, every day ain't always, sunshine. So
absolutely,
he trying to get himself back.
Get his confidence back.
I think I seen his hashtag yesterday, and it's called the Take Back. So
the Take Back, yeah.
He's coming back. We got Intrigue all the way out in Africa. He says Haney versus Brandon Lee at 140. Have they ever sparred before? 3 fire emojis.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, they didn't put in work. Yeah,
he done sparred everybody.
Shout out to Brandon. Shout out to his dad too, who's done a wonderful job. They've been on that journey. You know what I mean? And Brandon is a very good kid, man, inside and outside the ring, and I expect some big things from him in the future.
Edward Cruz, will you guys know what's Devin's next fight date? When will you guys know? Excuse me.
We're kind of hearing something. You know what I mean? I'm not at liberty to to announce any kind of fight date or anything like that. So just look forward to it soon. I think we're saying October, but we don't know which day it is.
Terrence Trotter says, no way Devin is undisputed at 140. Stop it.
Terrence Trotter, I think you were one of the people that said, no way will he be undisputed at 135.
Foxy Brown says, Tank has plenty of time to get them belts. Does he really, though? I mean,
I don't know how old is Tank. I'm not sure.
28, right? Or
Is he?
27 at
Is
least.
he? How old is he? I'm not sure.
He's older than everybody else for sure. He's been doing it longer. Let's see. Tank is 27, November 7th, 1994.
Okay, so he'd be 28. Yeah, he'd be 28.
So,
all the guys, it seemed like that, they were young just yesterday, but now they're getting old so fast, right? They're getting older. Because with Shakur, he's 25 now. I seen him do the interview, and I remember when Shakur was like, 12 and 13 years old, so it's just good to see them guys grow up and be mature and to become world champions.
which is crazy because I feel like Devin's been pro longer than Shakur.
Yes.
But Shakur's older. We got Terrence right back at you. Says Devin also beat the weakest 3-belt champion of all time. I don't think so. I beat the. I
don't
you know,
think- I
because
think
some
he
people
beat-
like to say that he didn't defend, but the thing is, he beat the man that beat the man that
Right.
beat the man.
That's what I was going to say. Is that and Teofimo was on the pound for pound list. He beat a guy on the pound for pound list, and then George beat him. So I don't know what week. And he asked him after he beat him, did he want a rematch? Inside the in right there, right after the fight, right while it was live. So it wasn't like he beat him and then he did a publicity stunt right during the fight. He asked him and told him he could do it again with him.
Someone sent me a video of that clip with Bob, and he paid a super chat. He said, Ness, play that clip. 37 seconds, 37 minutes in and 30 seconds, someone is lying. And he's talking about, obviously, the 12% for the sanctioning fees. But, I mean, your
What does he mean?
argument,
What does
your
he mean?
argument makes...
Play it. What is he talking about?
I would have to find it again. Resend it to me, kind sir. Resend it to me because that got buried.
I don't know.
Well,
what he's
basically,
lying.
he's trying to say that there is. Bob is saying that the fighter has to pay it, but you're saying, that's up to you and your negotiation team, your management team.
Absolutely. And when you're bringing something historic as an undisputed or a world title to the, why wouldn't, Bob or any promotional company with DHP, if and when, Amari Jones becomes champion or. You know what I mean? Shamar Canal becomes champion. We're going to pick up the sanctioning fees. That's part of having a world champion under your banner, for sure.
All right. They are not going to stop. We got a bunch that says 1.1 thousand people live. Shout out to Bill Haney, the boogeyman. Fire emoji, shh emoji. Rob Keyser back. He says, people say belts don't matter only when they are ducking the person who has the belts. Let's be real. If Dev goes to 140, Ryan would drop back down. Laugh out loud. That's crazy. You think he would? You think he'll go back down and get them vacant belts, or would he stay at 140 with you guys?
I don't know. I just can't believe that we're having a discussion about whether or not the belts are credible or not. You know what I mean? Every young fighter, so then do we say the amateur trophies aren't important either? So you stop fighting for national titles? Should we stop fighting for the national titles? Okay, well, listen, ask the people, should we stop fighting for the Olympic gold medals as well? When does this shit stop?
It's like you said, it's case by case, man. I think depending who that fighter is.
No, it's no case that's bigger than the case at hand. Being a world champion and fighting for a world championship belt, whether it be any of the sanctioning bodies, is the ultimate prize as a fighter. And when you can, just like you said, be the best and get paid for it, right? You know what I mean? It's a natural order of things. I think that we're trying to convolute, murky up the waters, and to say that, okay, in this case you don't need a belt, or in this case you don't need a belt, which is so far from the truth.
All right, let me I did get this video, so let's go ahead and play that. Right. All right. Let's pause this. And where is this? Where is this playthrough? Here we go. All right. This should play now.
Great event. I think everybody is going to enjoy themselves. I want to talk just a little bit about being undisputed. That sounds great.
All right,
You have the belts from every organization. But
Let's back
there's
that up.
a little bit, 3 occasions.
George Kambosos went through that after being
Right, yeah, right. So anyway, it's going to be a really good card, a great event. I think everybody is going to enjoy themselves. I want to talk just a little bit about being undisputed. That sounds great. You have the belts from every organization. But there's a downside to it because there are 4 organizations. Each one charges.
It seems like, okay, maybe you weren't here because, I mean, Devon's right next to him.
Mm-hmm.
So was this in Australia when you were still on the way?
Yeah,
'Cause I don't
know.
really see you there.
No, I'm not there. But go ahead. Let it finish.
Okay.
The fighters 3%. So now if they're undisputed and there's 4 belts, that's 12%. That's a lot of money to take out of a purse, right? But that's what it is. So there is, like everything else in life, a downside. Wonderful to be undisputed, terrible to pay 12% of your purse to these organizations, right?
Who's paying for it, right? Like, we
Right.
don't know exactly off that video what exactly is happening behind closed doors or at the negotiation table. So pretty much wasted our time. But the next one is from Dwayne Moore. Devin is the only fighter to clean out a division without defending his belt once. All these boxers are running from 135 now. Well, he did defend the WBC like 3 times. Well, 4 with the Kambosos, or is it 3 with Kambosos? I want to say.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Hey, how you doing, good brother? This
I'm good. How are you?
I happen to be on top on the boxing voice. You know what I mean? And I decided to give you a call. You know, because I knew that you'd answer because you're always answering the phone. But
Do my best to be available.
okay, but let me give an introduction. This is the top rank attorney who does a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job with the Top Rank business. And what they were talking about the belts. And I said, and because I speak so highly about the belts and what it means to be a champion, and the fact that a lot of the scenarios are being created that you don't need belts. But I said that the Top Rank and ESPN, they pay for the belts, and Devin doesn't have to worry about it. Can you confirm that that's true?
Well, Bill, where are you right now?
I'm right here at the Boxing Voice, live.
Yeah, Bill, I'm not going to talk publicly about what we do financially with you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say that Top Rank is great in the business, and Top Rank, we have a great situation, and being a world champion and having all the belts, that from Devin's perspective is great because we don't pay for any belts, and we don't have to worry about being an undisputed champion, and financially it being a responsibility of Devin. And is it okay for me to talk like that?
Bill, I can't control how you talk, so you say whatever you want. Don't be telling me to confirm anything.
Okay, well, that was good for a non-confirmation. But But this is one of the guys behind the scenes, and you know that should get a lot of credit. I don't know if he wants to say his name or not. You know, that's why I haven't said his name. But a lot of the business that gets handled, I spend talking to you. So thank you for not confirming, but confirming the fact of, you know.
I definitely didn't confirm anything.
Right. But will you confirm that it's something that's negotiated between the teams?
I'll confirm that I wish that you hadn't made this phone call.
Hey, have a good day, my friend. Thank you.
All right, you too, man.
Thank you,
Yo,
brother.
that's the thing. You see, they don't like that you tell the truth, man. You know, you always have receipts. You always have some sort of text. You always call someone. And I'm not saying he doesn't like it, but just in general, when people try to say something, you're proactive. You know, so this gentleman was super chatting and on, not wanting to believe that you didn't pay sanctioning fees. You're proactive and you prove that. And I love that, man. That's what more people need to do. Be just honest. This sport needs to get back to being honest. But we got Dewey Jones back with another one. He says, who realistically is the next opponent, Loma or Kambosos?
They're all good. They're all good opponents. Former world champions. You know that, of course, we welcome the opportunity to do. You know, George Kambosos, like I said, he's the guy that's been most vocal, right? He came to Devon's fight. He's rated high. He beat the man that beat the man. So I have nothing but good things to say about him. You know what I mean? But also, I have to address the fights that the people are asking for, the fights that the people are demanding. You know what I mean? And then see if we can make those happen. You know, and then that's my purpose of coming out publicly and discussing and talking with you guys, is answering it. This is, you know, for the people, by the people, of the people. You guys are the ones that pay the bills, whether it's on ESPN, whether it's on pay-per-view. You guys, it's the fans that pay. You know what I mean? And to not answer to you guys and to have these narratives being created that we as promoters or we as managers, we do whatever we want to do and you guys don't have any control is simply a falsehood.
Real American Fan. Hey, what's up, Bill and Ness? UK have their own world of boxing. It's like all they have to do is just box. It's fighters in the U.S. that have to be promoted. That's true.
Well, no, it's two different markets. But I think when you talk about the U.S. market, it's a valid market and a credible market in terms of the best fighters. And we have to maintain that. We have to keep that. We cannot switch over to anything other than having and representing the best talent in the world and in the United States.
We got Trevor Diaz. This says, what's up, Ness and Bill? Keep up the great work. Shout out to you, champ. And I think the last one is from Daniel Saint, who says, salute, Bill. How soon do you guys get back to training after a fight?
Devin stays in the gym. He's in the gym all the time. You know, he's always in the gym. We have to hope and kind of push him out the door to go have some fun, just so, you know, you can keep some balance in there. You know, you can keep and you know, you can peak at the right time. What the old timers have always taught me. Yeah, we're in the gym. We're in the gym. Matter of fact, we're in the gym today at 2.
That is all the questions. I thought Info Joe slid would in. Doesn't look like it. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I want to give, obviously, Bill a tour of the building and hope that 2 p.m. session is right here in our private facility. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. without a doubt. Peace.
Peace.
What up, YouTube family? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And Obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.